Hey drivers, Dr. Nuesse here again, and today we are going to talk about the prescription medications that you might be taking that could disqualify you when you're taking your DOT physical, your physical to get your medical card so that you can drive commercially. Now, most people understand that if you're taking illegal drugs, that is obviously disqualifying. You won't want to be taking any illegal drugs. We're not talking about illegal drugs here. We're talking about drugs that were actually prescribed to you by a physician for a particular condition. There are some of these that the FMCSA, the Department of Transportation, also says are disqualifying, and there are some workarounds to this. So let's go over this in detail. I'm going to reference here a few different websites. I will put the links to those websites in the description below so that you can check out this information for yourself. The first thing let's do is we'll go right to the Department of Transportation, the FMCSA's website, and we'll just read the rule. What medications disqualify a commercial driver? Here's the rule. A driver cannot take a controlled substance or prescription medication without a prescription from a licensed practitioner. Obviously, if you're taking a prescription drug that wasn't prescribed to you, that would be disqualifying. Obviously, if you're taking a controlled substance that is illegal, that would be disqualifying as well. If a driver uses a drug identified in 21 CFR 1308.11 in parentheses 391.42B12, and I'm going to give you a link to where you can see what drugs fall under this particular rule. So if you take a drug identified in that rule or any other substance such as an amphetamine, a narcotic, or any other habit-forming drug, then the driver will be automatically unqualified. Stay with me here for just a second because we're not quite there yet. There is an exception. The prescribing doctor, whoever wrote you the prescription, can write that the driver is safe to drive a commercial vehicle while taking the medication. And in this case, the medical examiner, us, may but does not have to certify the driver. Now, typically what I will do is if a doctor who has prescribed the medication that does fall into this category writes a letter and says that it is safe for you to drive while taking this medication, I will generally certify the driver if there's not any other kind of outstanding or very evident pressing medical condition that you come in with. Okay, so let's talk about the specific drugs. What drugs are going to require a clearance letter at minimum from a physician? Now, I'm going to leave a link where you can look at all of the medications, and there is a whole bunch of them under this 21 CFR 1308.11 rule. So I'm not going to go through everyone individually. I'm going to kind of hit the highlights. These are going to be the ones that most likely somebody is going to be prescribed for a certain condition and is going to need a medical clearance letter. Okay, and a link to this again is going to be in the description box below from unitypoint.org. And please don't take what I'm about to say as all-encompassing. This again is just the highlights. This is going to cover 95%, I would say, of all drugs that people, the drivers, patients, would come in and be on that would require a clearance letter. Now, one thing to be very, very clear from the beginning is the maximum certification that a medical examiner, us, can give to a driver is 2 years. If you are taking one of these medications, the maximum certification becomes 1 year, even if you have this clearance letter. All right, here are the medications. Medications requiring limited certification, 1 year or less. We've got lithium, we've got warfarin, we've got a bunch of antidepressants, Pristiq, Cymbalta, Effexor, Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, and then a whole bunch of antipsychotics as well. Abilify would be on this, Seroquel, Risperdal. And also, very, very important is any medication that is anti-seizure. So if you're on an anti-seizure medication, you can't have a clearance letter from a doctor. This is disqualifying across the board. So the ones that I just listed were, you're able to be certified if you have a clearance letter and if the medical examiner thinks you are fit to drive. But if you're taking an anti-seizure medication for the prevention of seizures, this is disqualifying across the board. So the rule of thumb is here, and what I would recommend all drivers do is if you've got any question of if your medication might be disqualifying, just get that clearance letter from your doctor in advance and bring it with you to your physical. All they have to do is on their letterhead write that it is safe for you to be taking the medication you're taking and drive a commercial vehicle. If they do that, generally that is considered a clearance letter, and the medical examiner, again, will generally accept that. Again, it's up to their discretion if you have other medical conditions and other things going on. So that's my best advice. If you have any questions, just get the clearance letter in advance. It won't hold up your exam if one of those drugs is on this list. All right, I hope that was helpful. Until next time, drivers, stay safe.